Just wanted to give a shout out again to Elevations Credit Union and Local Change. Thank you so much for all the incredible work you do in the community and for putting on these series and for letting me be with you guys today. I'm super excited, and I know they offer a lot of other classes too, so be sure to check those out. Next slide. All right, so today we're going to talk about Colorado Gives Day and year-end campaigns. We're going to do a welcome and introductions. Please leave your cameras on if you guys can so that you can be an active part of class. If your microphones are going to allow you to talk right now, I would love it if everyone went around and said who you are and what organization you are from. You guys want to, someone jump in?
I will jump in. I'm Gloria Baker. I'm the Director of Philanthropy for the Glenner Centers. We're located in San Diego, California. And for 42 years, we have been providing very specialized adult daycare for folks with Alzheimer's disease.
Thanks, Gloria.
I can
Anyone
go next.
else?
Yeah, hi, my name is Dave Sampson. I am with True Community Care based in Lafayette, Colorado. We provide hospice and palliative care and PACE services and memory care for people in our community. It's nice to see everybody. And thanks, Sunny.
Thank you.
I'll jump on behind Dave because I also work for True Community Care. I'm Carrie Kirshner and in the fundraising department.
I'll go next. My name is Lisa Shook, and I'm with Mile High United Way in Denver.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Craig Smith, and I'm with St. Paul's Senior Services. And hi, True Care. I guess we're new partners. So
Hi,
nice
Craig.
to
We're looking forward to it, Craig.
Behind the three-letter word, but we welcome you into the family and vice versa, I guess. We serve seniors also through PACE, through residential communities, through a skilled nursing facility, and through our residential communities, we do assisted living, memory care, and independent living. So there you go. And nice to see you, Sunny, and everybody else.
Thank you.
I'm Bailey
Hi.
Pattison. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Bailey Pattison. I'm the communications specialist for Denver Kids. We serve almost 1,000 students in Denver public school system with our program where we connect them with one-on-one support through Denver Kids advisors, volunteer mentors, with the goal of getting them to graduate high school and pursue post-secondary options. So we are working really hard to get kids on the pathway that means the most to them.
Thanks.
Hi, I'm Hillary Simmons. I'm the executive director of A Little Help. We're a nonprofit helping older adults to age well in their homes and within our communities. We serve Metro Denver, up in northern Colorado, and then out on the western slope to help folks age well at home by connecting them with neighbors who volunteer. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Amy Stitt. I am the development manager at Girls Inc. of Metro Denver.
Thanks, Amy.
Hello, my name is Eiko Kato Fisher. I'm a development coordinator at Via Mobility Services. So glad to be here. And sorry, I'm trying to get my cameras on, but I don't know if I can do. I'm doing it, but I'm on the screen and waiting for the looking for the today's webinar. Thank you.
Thank you. We see you. Does anyone else want to jump in? I see some of you are writing in the chat bar also. Okay, so let's jump onto the rest of it then. Thank you guys so much for introducing either in the chat or on the video. Much appreciated. so fascinating. Before I started doing this work, when I was fundraising for Bell Swan, every time I went to an event where people talked about what they did, I was so excited about the work they were doing in the nonprofit field to make the world a better place. So thank you all for the work that you're doing. I really appreciate you. I'm going to walk you through step by steps to how to have a successful fundraising campaign. The most important thing I want you guys to walk away from this class with is the art of storytelling and how much you're telling your story will impact the amount of money you're able to raise. According to research, people donate based on their heart rather than their head. So when you're appealing to people, make sure you're giving a story that will excite people to give to you. Talk to their hearts instead of their heads. My goal as a fundraiser is always to make people feel empathy for a situation and then clearly show how they can directly impact for a better outcome through their generosity. We're going to try and get through slides quickly so we have some meaningful time at the end to chat. And please put notes in the sidebar, as I was saying before, and we can address those later as well. Thank you so much for sharing your valuable time with me today and everybody else. I know as a nonprofit professional, it is really hard to get away from the day-to-day work. So we're going to make sure this is worthwhile and meaningful. And Jen, if you can jump to the next slide. Thank you. So my name is Sunny Justice, and I work for the Page Family Foundation. The Page's goal is to support education, animals, and older adults through our endowment, fundraising, consulting, and donor engagement. Since 2000, the foundation has donated over $3.1 million to support our missions. And since 2021, when the board allowed me to start doing consulting and fundraising, we have been able to raise an additional $3.3 million through coaching. It's makes me so proud to be able to say that. In 2020, the board wanted to have a larger impact, and I missed fundraising, and this seemed like the perfect solution was for us to be doing that. So during my 13-year tenure at Bell Swan Children's Center, while I was the development director, I was able to increase net fundraising revenue by 384%. Okay, we're going to jump right into content now. With this next slide. Hope House is one of the organizations who's here today watching, and I pulled this off their website and thought about what I would do to make it different, to try and highlight what we're going to talk about today. So as it says, meet Stephanie. Stephanie is no longer the vulnerable, frightened teen mom who applied to Hope House. Her background is not uncommon around Hope House. Stephanie grew up in generational poverty, became a mom as a teenager, and then dropped out of school. By the time her daughter was born, her boyfriend was gone. She was sleeping with her baby girl on a couch in a crowded mobile home. So I want you guys to think about that for a minute and think about what you would do to strengthen that, to make it more of a story that's engaging. One of my thoughts is that what struck me immediately upon looking at it is that they are showing you that she graduated with her graduation cap on, but they're not talking about it directly. And I think if you talk about it directly, it has a bigger impact. So thank you, Cheyenne, for taking the class and for letting me use this as an example. And then Jen, if you flip to the next page, I wrote how I would change this. So meet Stephanie. Thanks to donors like you, Stephanie went from dropping out of school and sleeping pregnant on the sofa of a crowded mobile home, from sleeping with her baby, I did change it in my slide, but forgot to do it here, on the sofa of a crowded mobile home, to finding a stable environment, returning to school, and breaking the cycle of generational poverty. Your generosity transforms stories of hardship into hope, giving young mothers like Stephanie the resources they need to build a brighter future. And then it also says donate now to transform lives. So I hope you guys can hear the shift and how it ties together better the story. And I think the story is what we're all really looking for. Other thoughts, I wrote donate now to transform lives. My other thought was we could write for the button that you click to take you to donations. My other thought was you could write provide hope, donate now, or donate now to provide hope. And if you guys have other ideas of what you would use if this were you creating this, I'd love to have you put it in the chat. What do you think that donate button should look like? And then if you want to skip to the next slide. So that was an example of what my work is like and what I'm hoping to help you guys get to. This is how we're going to get there. So the 4 steps to a successful fundraising campaign. First, you need to secure a match. Then you need to set a campaign timeline. You need to create compelling content and be sure to thank your donors. Jen, will you slip to the next slide? Thank you. The first thing you have to do is secure a match. So you can do that through grants, asking corporations for donations, or asking individual donors. One of the things I often suggest to people is if you're looking for a larger match and one individual can't help you with that, or one corporation can't help you, pool people's money together. If your board members always give $1,000 and you've got 10 of them, bring them together and that's your $10,000 match. Get creative. And I think it's also really important when you ask people, would you be willing to help with my match, that you explain to them how they're having a really bigger impact than just giving a donation. They're actually going to elevate your campaign and help you reach the goals that you're looking for. So get people excited. Next slide. So I would recommend that you guys obtain 20 to 50% of your goal in matching funds. That seems like a really great way to get people motivated. So 3 years ago, the board charged me with fundraising. And my initial solution was to offer matching grants and coach our partners on how to use that match to bring in more money. And within that first year, we were able to help our organizations raise $135,000 more than they'd raised in the past, which is a 30% increase. So my goal for everybody taking this awesome class today is that all of you, through taking this class or calling me afterwards and coaching, that we get you to 30% more than you did last year. That's really my hope. And Bailey, I'm calling you out because I'm seeing you shake your head. I hope we were able to do that for you guys this past year. There are a couple of you on here that I have coached in the past. And I'm really excited you're here to take the class and hope that we can have great outcomes for everybody here. All right, Jen, if you can switch slides. So we're going to talk about timelines now. So it's ideal that you guys use 4 to 6 weeks lead time, and that you have 4 to 6 weeks to try and raise your funds. We'll talk about establishing a deadline because they create urgency and motivate people to give. In chances that you can, if you haven't raised what you need to and it's your own campaign, you can extend timelines if you haven't met your goal. I know that that is not the case with Colorado Gives Day because it's very precise about when you start and when you end. And we'll talk about that later. But in general, 4 to 6 weeks is great. The other thing I want to tell you guys is if you are part of Colorado Gives Day, I encourage you guys soon to update your profiles on the Colorado Gives Day website with fresh, simple, meaningful, and impactful messages and photos. Next slide. So timeline. Colorado Gives Day starts November 1st and it ends December 10th. I'm going to give you in the packet I'm handing out a detailed timeline with ideas on how I would approach year-end giving, when to start, how to collect information, photos, videos, stories, and exactly when to have all of these things done. The biggest takeaway, though, is the more you stay in front of donors, the better. Just an interesting fun fact, Cornell University accidentally sent out multiple asks their last day of their campaign, and it was the exact same ask. And instead of having people be angry, they raised the most amount of money they'd ever raised just by staying in front of people. So I encourage you guys, as you get closer and closer to your timeline, I think it's great if you can send fresh content each time, but if you can't, just stay in front of people, like really stay in front of people. Another thing I wanted to talk about is signs around your building or unique ways that you can stay in front of people that's unique to your organization. What makes your situation unique and how can you capitalize on that? Just an example, One of the organizations I coach is Girls Inc. And we were talking last year about them having a coffee shop and how the people who attend the coffee shop aren't people who are receiving services and therefore are people that could be donating bigger donations. And we talked about putting QR codes on coffee cups that would link them to their website to give donations. And they were saying that was too expensive. And so the idea we came up with was to put a QR code on the exits as you left the coffee shop that had information about where they were, showing like a coffee cup and how full they were towards reaching their donation goal. So it's a visual that people can relate to and also a QR code to link them. So get creative with your organization. Jen, can you slip to the next slide? So what we were talking about before was creating compelling content. So taking the information you have and just making it more rich. If you can afford to send a full mailer, go for it. Or if you can't, what about the possibility of sending a postcard? There's a postcard I'm going to share with you guys later in this presentation that I think is fabulous. And there will be a link also at the end of this to a 60-second video that's also really great. And following class, we can discuss how I can specifically help your organization as well. All right, Jen, next slide. Don't forget to use QR codes that direct people quickly to learn more or donate. Send people first to your website and then to Colorado Gives Day, and that way it will raise you in Google searches. Next slide. So an effective fundraising campaign theme: get your supporters excited, make sure your campaign has a call to action, donate today to make what possible for your organization, and spell it out. It's tied to the mission. It has an inspiring story that is short, to the heart, and one that you'd feel really proud to tell in front of your clients. Make sure you'd be proud. And also make sure that donors know the impact that their donation will make. Next slide. So you want to create compelling content. This is another example. I took something off of a website and then enhanced it a little bit with a little bit more language to talk about who they were helping and how. So I get to age in my home because St. Paul's Pace helps me with laundry, transportation to appointments, and grocery shopping. And then put a quote. This is from Virginia. And right now, your support goes twice as far to support low-income seniors. Donate now. So it's who you're helping, how you're helping, and it highlights the match, showing it goes 2 times as far. Next slide. So this next slide, you don't need to read anything. This is just a visual cue, so don't worry about reading it. I notice on several of the websites of people who are taking the class, they talk a lot about the services they provide and the facts about it, but there weren't storytelling. So I want to help you guys go from facts to storytelling when you're trying to get participants, or Jen, will you flip to the next slide? When you're trying to get participants, or if you're trying to get donations. So this is how I would work to move to donations. So it's the same photo that I think is fabulous. And it says your donations help low-income seniors like Suzanne, a retired teacher with dementia, receive adult daycare services. This allows her to be cared for while her family works, ensuring her safety and providing peace of mind for her loved ones. And then there's a donate now button to support seniors like Suzanne. Next slide. Thank you. So that tells and shows the difference it makes. This is just a quick slide I wanted to show you guys. Make sure to add light boxes to your homepage that alert people when they're coming to your website that you're in the middle of a campaign and you need donations quickly. Next slide. I love this next picture. Check out this ask from the San Diego Humane Society. I love the eye-catching photo. They get to the story of how you can make a difference quickly. You're helping animals like Sweet Mr. Gray. They have a match, double the healing, and they also have a call to action with their donate now button. I think this is so awesome. Jen, will you click the next page? This is also a story about Mr. Gray. What I notice is they get right to the story in the heart of the matter, the difference your donation will make. He was in a desperate situation. They provided wonderful help to this puppy. And thanks to donations like yours, that was made possible. Next slide. This next slide is also about San Diego Humane Society. They offer tons of ways for people to get involved, learn more, donate, or encourage you or others to join in giving. I really, really, really can't encourage you guys enough. Get on the San Diego Humane Society's mailing list and email list. They send out so much inspiring, so many like great requests that can serve as inspiration to you guys. They're a fabulous resource. Next slide. This is from when I was working at Bell Swan Children's Center. It starts with saying Abigail weighed 4 pounds 7 ounces when she was born. We were instantly in love. Our happiness ended the moment our doctor said he suspected Abigail had Down syndrome, followed by the words, "I'm so sorry." This started with heartstrings and a photo.
What are we listening?
What? Yeah, it started with heartstrings and a photo. And then the other thing I wanted to point out to you guys is that this is written in 2 colors because I couldn't afford a full color print. And the colors I used were our logo colors. So it's another way to market what we do. If you guys want examples of someone that does that great, Girls Inc. uses red, 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 red everywhere. And it really like highlights who they are. Okay, next slide. Are the slides working okay, you guys, or do we need a technical difficulty moment?
I'm seeing all the slides at once.
Is anybody else seeing that?
Is it just me?
I think it's just you, Carrie. I'm seeing just one at a time.
Sorry, Carrie.
Huh.
I think it's a button. You have to, you're in grid view. Like I just toggled it back and forth. There's a button at the bottom that you can switch out of grid view.
I was just seeing everything and don't
You can click the X at the top. If you scroll all the way to the top, you'll see kind of an X in the top right corner, and you can X out of the grid view and it should put you into one.
Okay, I'll figure it out. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Bailey. I actually think you helped me on a call once last year too, trying to figure something out. This next slide is for special transit. And we don't need to read any of it. I just want to point out it has a story and it has a photo and it gets right to the heart. And it says, your gift to special transit allows Maxine quality of life. That's fabulous. Next slide is an example that an organization used last year during Colorado Gives Day to try and get people, it highlighted our match, which is fabulous. And it shows the impact by the numbers. $25 helps with critical education programs, etc. They've raised nearly 6,000 of the 15,000 needed. It's a call to action and it asks you to schedule your gift today. What it's missing, I'm sure you guys are all getting by now, is there's no story and heartstrings. So make sure that you guys are telling stories and getting heartstrings. And following this class, I really, really, really encourage you guys, look at everything you sent last year with this new lens and make sure that your messaging is really clear. It's to the heart, it tells a story, and it has a call to action. Next slide. I encourage you guys to engage your most loyal supporters in helping you fundraise. Ask your board members, your volunteers, your participants, and your staff to get involved and ask other people in their lives that love and support them to give to the organization that's close to your heart. Use social media campaigns. Those things can blow up and reach lots more people than you thought. So please, please, please use that. During your annual campaign, avid supporters can set up giving pages. And I think healthy competition is great. Can your board members pledge to get $10,000 as a team or $10,000 as a person and compete with each other? Find ways to get people involved and excited. Utilize your website TikTok, Instagram, Nextdoor, and any other social media platforms you can think of to support your organization. And I also want to let you guys know research shows that LinkedIn is a much better fundraising tool than Facebook. So make sure you're using that as well. Next page. Envelopes. If you guys are doing a campaign by mail, I encourage you to catch people's attention and tell a story before they even open the envelope. Have a call to action. On this specific one, it says healthcare heroes need your help to save more lives like LaShawn's. And it has a photo. This envelope ties to the story inside, which was also great. Envelopes should always have a photo and your logo. And if you can't afford to make it colorful and beautiful like this, do it in one color, have it be black and white, but use a photo and have your logo. And text highlighting your match or call to action. Like on the front of this, I would have said $1 equals $2 in addition to everything else it says. And has a call to action. Next page. You guys do not need to read any of this. I just wanted to show you an example of a return envelope that collects a lot of information. Return envelopes can capture lots of information and remind donors why they're supporting and what their donations do, why they matter. So in this instance, I want to help a child thrive. That's a powerful reason and a reminder for why you would give. They invite you to give once or monthly. They invite you to learn more. They invite you to donate and to volunteer. And their logo is really fabulous. Leave a footprint, support a kid in Colorado. I think it's so great. Be sure you're collecting all of this information on your forms as well, whether it's on the website or in return envelopes. And in every solicitation, add a question about corporate matches to your envelopes and online giving pages. I was shocked to learn that over 18 million people work for companies with matching, and $4 billion a year is left on the table from people not getting the matching funds from corporations. Next slide. This one gets me super excited. So this is from the Denver Scholarship Foundation. And if you took off the Today is Colorado Gives Day off the top, that circle on the top, that was a postcard that they mailed out to people. Things I love about this. It shows in the bottom corner someone practicing cutting hair. They're going to school to cut hair. Someone else is sitting in a classroom learning about science. Someone standing in a library. Like there were a lot of really great photos that show what is made possible because of Denver Scholarship Foundation. So they used this postcard both as a postcard they mailed to people and then as a pitch the last day of Colorado Gives Day. And I just want to read to you what it says. Today is Colorado Gives Day, when you have an even bigger chance to make an impact on scholars. Today, the Herbert and Judy Page Family Foundation is matching gifts up to $24,000, which means your $1 becomes $2 towards a scholar certificate or degree. Don't wait, make your gift now. $1 becomes $2. What does it do? They tell you it goes towards a scholar certificate or degree. There's urgency. Don't wait, gift now, give now. And some of these photos tell a story and show how you're helping. I think it's a really, really, really great piece. Can you flip to the next one? This is also a shout out to Denver Scholarship Foundation. I have put a link to this video in the packet I'm sending you guys after class today. This video is 1 minute long. It's short and sweet, and it tells the impact that you're making. The power of video has on awakening one's emotions should not be underestimated, especially when it comes to digital marketing, where your messages have the power to spread to enormously large groups of potential donors. Emotions are ultimately what drives people to act. Consider creating a quick video, even on your phone, to share with your audience. Next page. We're almost done, by the way, people, and then we can talk. This was a thank you I gave to an example I used at Bell Swan Children's Center of those adorable children. Be sure you guys are thanking your donors in a really quick, timely, great fashion. Tell them with a story the difference their donation has made. For example, some donors need a formal, like every donor should get a formal thank you note within 2 weeks. But some of them you're going to want to call or have a board member call, send an email, or give a gift. Send a handwritten thank you letter. For example, I'm going to hold up for you guys. This is a thank you card I got from Pace. It's art created by an older adult that is a participant, which I thought was really great. This is what we used to give out at Bell Swan. I know it's blurry, but hopefully you guys can see. It's art created by the students. This is a thank you, if it's stuck together, I received from an organization that serves kids. It's a photo of the kids, and then on the back, it talks about who they are and what it goes towards. This is also one of my favorites. It's from Colorado Uplift, and it says, I'm thankful for Uplift because they love me. Another one I've gotten from people is, when I grow up, I want to be a doctor. And it's a picture of a kid who's involved in an organization that helps people go to school. So just food for thought as you guys think about how you want to thank people. My rule of thumb at Bell Swan was anybody who gave over $5,000, in addition to getting a form thank you, also got a handwritten thank you letter. You guys will have to set the amount that works for your organization, but that's what was meaningful when we looked at our numbers. And then around this time of year, I used to send a handwritten thank you note to anyone who gave over 500 anytime throughout the year. It was thank you so much for being such an important part. Happy Thanksgiving. And it also served as a reminder, we're in the middle of a campaign right now. I would never have sent an envelope asking for a donation in those letters. I really, really, really don't like it when people do that, but that's just me. But it was a nudge to remind people we're thankful for you around Thanksgiving, and hopefully they would choose to give at that time as well. 80% of your funding comes from 20% of your donors. 80% of your funding comes from 20% of your donors. So make sure those 20% of people are getting the love that they need to continue to stay interested in your cause and what you are doing. Stay in front of them. Also, make sure that you know your donors. Some people don't want to be acknowledged publicly. Some people do want to be acknowledged publicly. Some people would love to have a small gift from you. Some people would think that was a waste of time and money. So you really need to know your people. So I encourage you guys to know more about that. We had at Bell Swan someone that contributed over $1 million to our capital campaign, and they were a private donor. So I was tasked with trying to figure out how to acknowledge them. And we had an amazing volunteer that was a quilter. And I asked her if she'd be willing to make a quilt for the family. So we went around and had staff members write on little pieces of fabric, thank you for making what we do possible. You changed a child's life, something that was meaningful. And then we had the kids either do art or put their handprints on the quilt, and then it was put into a quilt for these people. So I was able to keep them as an anonymous donor, but we were able to make a gift that was really important to them, and they were expecting a grandchild. And they told me they put that up above their crib. So just an example of a meaningful gift. Another idea I've talked about with some of you that have children's organizations is getting like a flower pot and having kids put handprints in the colors of your logo, and then putting your logo, if you can, on it and putting pens in it so that corporations can have a gift from you out in front of people as people enter and exit the building. Another thing I did when I was at Bell Swan was take children's art and turn that into the plaques that we gave people as thank you for being sponsors. And my boss actually used to be a donor at Bell Swan, and every time I go to his office, I see these awesome, really individual pieces of art that are thank yous from Bell Swan from when I was there. So I encourage you guys to get creative. And another thing that I think has saved me over these years of fundraising is We don't have to recreate the wheel. There are lots of really talented, great fundraisers out there. When you get a piece of marketing from an organization you donate to that you think is incredibly fabulous, put it in a file folder. Like, I love this, and here's why. So that as you are getting ready to approach creating a video or a mailing piece, you can look at what inspired you that someone else did and emulate it in your own beautiful way. Okay, next slide. I really, really, really love fundraising. As you guys can tell, I hope I'm good at it, and I really want to help you guys get that 30%. So if you will let me help you by September 25th, excuse me, find your matching money. Let me know if you need help brainstorming it. By September 30th, send me a draft of your annual campaign, Colorado Gives Day, year-end campaign, whatever it is you need help with. I will proof it, I will offer my thoughts, and I will tell you how I would strengthen it. If you need different help than that, send me what you did last year and let's talk through together. Hey, here's what we did last year. How can we make it even better for this year? Happy to do that as well. And then in January, please, please, please let me know how much you raised this year versus last year. My goal really is that you guys raise at least 30% more. There's an organization that I worked with in the past that went from like 150,000 to $1 million in the year that we coached. So just to give you guys an example, we had them get matching funds from their board, who are really helpful and awesome, and they donated every year. But instead of just donating, they took their board's donation and turned it into a match, and they were able to raise a lot more money by inspiring people with those gifts. Please just give me 3 weeks to look at your stuff in case I get really slammed. And I'm also happy to get on phone calls with you guys. Next slide. We're going to get to questions, comments, and stuff in just a second. And Jen, if you want to try and pull out any questions from the chat, that would be great if people are feeling shy. But before we do that, Bailey or Lisa, would either one of you be willing to talk about what it's like working with me and what changes you guys made to your campaigns after doing that, or anything really?
I'm happy to. I mean, I met Sunny last year. I started at Denver Kids last May, and so it was my first Colorado Gives Day. And I'm from Texas, so it was my first real time doing a campaign in Colorado. And I found her to be super helpful resource. She sent out, I think there was like a guide you sent out for Colorado Gives Day. I read the guide. I found it to be like a lot of good information. It helped me kind of plan my content out and find really compelling stories. And then she even, like when I would send my campaigns out, she would comment on which ones she really liked. And then if she had feedback, she would be like, this could be better if you would, instead of using 4 images, use 1 big image. Like kind of little feedback tips like that actually really like helped the engagement of that email. So like just things that I maybe didn't know or wouldn't have done that she pointed out that were really helpful for Colorado Gives Day. And I'm really excited to work with you again on year-end giving.
I'm excited too.
I'll just add in that here at Mile High United Way, I'm not real involved in the Colorado Gives Day, but while working with Sunny in the past, what I love is being really mindful about the call to action and using stories as part of your fundraising just in general. I think I'll speak for myself that sometimes I forget that because I am hearing them and seeing them all the time, but that doesn't mean our donors do. And so I really appreciate Sunny kind of calling me out on that, so to speak.
Awesome. Thank you guys. So thanks for letting me put you on the spot. Is there anyone that wants to jump in with questions, comments? Do you want to share something you're doing that you think is fabulous that everybody should be doing? Questions?
Sunny, should I stop sharing your slides now? Do you want to see everyone?
Sure. The only other thing, will you go to the last slide, which is just me saying thank you so much for letting me be a part of what you guys are doing. I really love, if you didn't get it yet, fundraising. I really miss fundraising. So I'm thankful to each of you who allows me to be a part of what you're doing. You make such a difference in the world we live in, and I'm so thankful for what you do, and I want to support you any way I can in reaching your goals. So please reach out to me. Thank you again to Local Change and Elevations Credit Union for letting us have this time today and creating it for us, and for all you do in the community. And that, one other thing. I am also going to send out my 9 pages of notes to you guys as soon as this is over. And it's what Bailey was just talking about, but I've actually changed the content and added a lot more. I took a lot of stuff out of the slideshow so that we'd have more time to talk and put information in here, including a copy to the best thank you letter I've ever received in my entire life. And I also highlight a couple of organizations that I think have really great pages up on Colorado Gives Day that you guys could look at and emulate. So I'm going to be sending this out, and then also a survey. And if you guys could please complete the survey, it's my way of getting back to the board of the Page Foundation to show them that what I'm doing is appreciated and beneficial. So yeah, Jen, I'm done. Thank you. And thanks for everybody sticking on when there were technical difficulties too. Sorry about that. That was all me.
Sunny, do you have
It's
any
nice to see you guys.
do you have any recommendations on the best way to approach our board to ask for that matching fund?
Totally. What I would do is look at who's given in the past and how much they've given, and tell them how much you want to have be your like matching fund, and see if they gave 1,000 last year, if they moved to 1,500 and you got a couple of people to do that together. Explain to them, and I have it in the notes. I'm terrible with remembering stats, but people are more likely to give if there's a match, and they give more if there's a match. And that's in this packet I'm going to give you. So as you're talking to your board, you can explain to them if they can help you get that nugget of a match pulled together. It will have such a bigger impact than them just giving individually.
Yes, I definitely understand the concept. I just don't know the best way to go about wrangling the board together, but thank you.
I would call people individually and see what you can get them to do, if you think that would be the best way to impact your board, or do it as a group. And in your case, you have our match, so you don't have to have a board match for your campaign.
Right. Did you just freeze? Or is that just me too?
No, Sunny, you just froze.
Okay, thank you, Sunny.
Yeah, hopefully you heard me. Sorry.
I have a question more about compelling stories. So I get like a lot of counselors at our organization that submit like little Slack messages and blurbs and bits and pieces here, and I'll follow up with them and I'll get the quotes and like all the pieces I know that will make a compelling story. But it'll often be at a time where I'm working with a lot of content, and so it's a lot of stories. And like for our gala, for example, I'll use that. But I know we're working on an annual campaign, but it's a good example because I had like 6 stories that I was trying to write and get printed and have put out, and I found myself like just kind of piecing the pieces together just enough, and not necessarily, is there like a strategy or a book or something I could read about like the best way to maybe flip the story so it's not just like kind of slapping what they give me down. It's better than that, like I'm being critical, but like I just feel like a lot of times I get not complacent, but like I get so overwhelmed with the content that like I struggle to maybe get some of that compelling meaning that I want with it.
I'll give you my thought, and then I'd totally love to hear what anybody else does, because it's a great point. I used to have like a form. I always found it hard to just get anybody to give me anything. Like, so I'm glad that you at least are getting pictures and quotes from people, because that was always really hard for me. So what I ended up doing was creating like a form that said, when you capture great moments, can you send me a photo, send me a quote, and explain the story? And like ask people to be thoughtful about it. And that could even be like a private page on your web. This was, you know, a while ago, so we didn't have the same technology we do today. So mine was like a piece of paper form, but you could have like a Google Doc that you share with everybody on your team that says, as you collect this, can you dump it into this file? And then as people would send me stuff, and it should also say who sent it to you, take it and like dump it into a folder that you can go back to later when you have time and you're looking for content. But I would encourage people, I know, especially when I was trying to send out board reports or grant reports and stuff, you need a lot of stories for that too. So if you try and collect it a lot as you go along, like 4 times a year, ask people for it and ask as many people as you can. What does anybody else do? A Google Doc. Okay.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That's kind of something I was spinning around too. I think we have an old one somewhere, but I probably should update it, and maybe I can make the prompt a little bit more what I'm looking for or what I'm missing when I'm writing it.
Yeah, totally.
I have another question, Sunny. When it seems like always, and probably everybody has the same issue, we're constantly going back to our same pool of donors. And I wonder if you have any recommendations on how, other than, I know we could ask our board to each, we do this, each invite some of their friends to get engaged, but like how can we widen our reach to the public that isn't necessarily part of our donor pool?
Again, I'll give you my thought, and then I'd be interested to hear what anybody else thinks. Um, Sometimes when I was at Bell Swan, I bought lists of people in the community that might be interested. And you could do lists of people that are close to where your sites are located, so people might be more interested because it's really local to where they are. Being honest with you, sometimes I looked at who was giving to other organizations that did similar things,
Right.
and tried to figure out if those people might also be interested in what we're doing. I think your idea of having board members invite people to things is great. And I think if board members are hesitant to ask people to go to an event, maybe they'd be willing to do a LinkedIn ask. Maybe there's a softer touch way to get people to try and tell their story, and really capturing great impact on what you guys are doing and sending it out through social media. Could you get people really excited? Think about like the ice bucket challenge we did years ago. Like, that was incredible. And there were so many people that donated to that had nothing to do with anything. So is there a way that you could tell your story in a different way that it's been told before that could reach a wider audience?
Thank you.
What does anybody else have thoughts?
I just wanted to add to that. Lists can be expensive to buy, but they can also be useful because you can definitely give them parameters. You can not only say like close to your zip codes, but you can ask, if you want like an age group of people, and also you can get people who are philanthropic who have given before. So you can narrow the parameters enough to get you a really good pool of people to reach out to.
And does someone else have a question?
Yes. Could you tell us a little bit about the LinkedIn fundraising? You said sometimes, LinkedIn fundraising is more effective for the Facebook fundraising.
That was something I read. You know what? Eco will look and see if I can find a fundraising page that someone did on LinkedIn and share that. I'll do some research for you.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, I'll do some research and see what I can find.
Thank you so much.
Unless anybody else has a story or an example they want to share.
I'm a huge LinkedIn advertising, fundraising, I mean, everything when you're asking donors because so many professionals are on LinkedIn. It's easier. They're often on it. I mean, they really engage a lot more. Like we get a lot of board engagement and things on our LinkedIn. I know it's not a fundraising page, but it is a really good way to like reach your donor base because that they're there.
That's
And
awesome.
I
Bailey,
see
will
more
you
of them than I
send an
do. I would
example?
say I see like more targeted responses on it than I do on Facebook, where I'll get a little bit more random responses. Like LinkedIn is a lot more actually our audience.
I can
Mm.
share with you. I would say I'm team Facebook and team LinkedIn, but I will say for fundraising peer to peer, I can only talk for me. I've had enormous success with my Facebook, and you know this, Sonny, because I've told you, my Facebook fundraising campaign for St. Paul's for 4 years now. I've raised $3,000 to $4,000 every year. Again, I have a lot of friends, but I don't have that many. I mean, I have about 1,000 or something, but it's Facebook is more personal than LinkedIn. And I think when you tell stories that are personal and they show pictures of me with these seniors, and I tell them who the senior is, it's not just a senior, that's Margaret. Margaret lives at the Manor. Margaret was a school teacher for 35 years. It's much more effective, at least for me, to communicate to my friends and family through that personal thing. If someone has something better than Facebook, I'm open for it. But I've always found LinkedIn to be a side thing for this Facebook peer-to-peer campaign for me. I use LinkedIn as a way to do as a backup, but I don't use it as my first and foremost one. I still think, again, speaking just for me and raising, and my friends are my age, 50s and 60s, maybe some 40s in there. Facebook still hasn't lost its glimmer. I don't think. If someone else has another way to reach the 50s and the 60-year-olds, then let me know, because they are not Instagramming. They're not TikToking. Some maybe, but not my world. So I would definitely say team Facebook if you're going to do your peer-to-peer. And I don't even know if LinkedIn has as good of a system. I mean, Facebook has it down pat. It makes it very user-friendly. LinkedIn, I would have no idea how to do a Facebook campaign personally peer-to-peer on LinkedIn. If they do, please, Sonny, find out and let us all know.
Okay. I also love, Craig, what you just said is a perfect example of something I was saying before. Get your staff to raise money from their contacts. Like, you are in fundraising, but I remember at Bal Swan, I used to beg people, please, please, please. Everybody knows how much you love this job, and they love the incredible impact you have because you talk about it all the time and how much you love it and all the kids you're working with and stuff. But you were raising money personally for the organization. That wasn't a formal ask. So thank you for sharing that. That's great. Anybody else? Thank you guys for sticking it out through technical difficulties and for being here. And I'm super excited to share the step-by-step guide with you guys. I hope you find it super helpful. And
Oh, Sunny, there was one more question on the chat from Danielle about where you buy lists and what you do to look for donors at similar organizations.
okay, my screen was frozen, so I missed all of that.
Oh, so someone wanted to know where you buy lists, and then also what where you're looking to see who's donating to similar organizations, annual reports and that sort of thing.
So I'll do, Gloria, since you've been in this more recently than I am, I'll have you answer the question about where you buy lists, and I'll do the how you find lists of who gives. Look at people's annual campaigns. It's really naughty and not nice of me, but I looked at who was giving to other similar organizations and then tried to get them. And I did that not just for individual donors. I often did that for corporate sponsorship. Like if Silter Har is sponsoring, I don't know, a precious child, why aren't they supporting me? We're big in the community too. So that's how I figured out who to go to for corporate sponsorships, in addition to looking at individual donors. And Gloria, will you answer the by the list question?
Yeah, I actually don't know the answer to that. I think I was solicited at some point, by oh no, that's not right. It was recommended to me by a printer. We've used the same printer for our annual appeal and our mailings for a long time. And they had a list of people who sold lists, and I sort of called and interviewed about 3 of them to just see who could give me the most specific information, and that's how I used it. They're expensive, and so I think you need to, to weigh the, you know, sort of the advantages of it. I don't use them anymore. I did, but I didn't think it made such a significant difference. And it is more expensive because it makes your mailing that much more expensive if you're mailing to another 1,000 homes or something. So, you kind of have to weigh it. But Sunny, I just want to echo, you're like kind of looking at even if you go to the theater and you look at programs, in theaters, if it's a production of, I don't know, Peter Pan or something, and you are in a children's organization, then you might find, like sponsors and donors there that are, but yeah, everywhere you go, just see what everybody else is donating to.
I mean, I used to take pictures. I totally agree with that. I used to take pictures of like donor walls when I went into buildings, and pictures of who's supporting sporting events. And it used to make me really angry, actually, all the money that goes into sporting events, and Coke sponsoring them instead of sponsoring something awesome like changing the lives of,
Yeah.
older adults with dementia or something else. Like there's so many important causes in our world. The more we can get money headed to the right places, the better. So
I actually did have one more question that I put in the Q&A, but I guess maybe it didn't come through. Sonny, after talking with you and a couple of times, I've gotten some really cool pictures, and I've gotten some testimonials from families who have used our services. And so my thought was to include some of those quotations and those pictures in the appeal. How do you feel in general about testimonials?
absolutely use them every time.
Okay.
And I think if you can use one story in each ask, that's how I would do it. Like tell an in-depth story, and then as you do subsequent follows up, use a different story and a different story and a different story so that the content stays fresh.
Okay. Thank you.
That's my thought.
Mhm.
Thank you guys. It looks like some of you are needing to get off because our time is up. Please reach out to me. You have my contact information after I send the email, which I'm going to do when we hang up. So, and I will look for more information about LinkedIn, peer-to-peer fundraising, and where to buy printer lists. I'll have to look back into that because it's been a while.
Thank you so much. This was so wonderful.
Thank you, Sunny.
Thank you, Sunny.
Thank you guys
Thank
for
you,
being
Sonny.
here.
Great to see you.
Thank you so
Keep
much.
up the great
Thanks,
work.
Sonny.
Hi,
Thank
Gloria.
you. Bye, Craig. Good to see
Bye.
you.
Mhm.